I'm not a professional, but I do love bagels, so I'm gonna make some bagels for the week. Last time I made this recipe, they looked like this. It took about 5 tries to get it right, but first thing you do is you activate your yeast mixture. So I'm gonna take some water, sugar, and yeast, mix that together. I'm gonna start with 531 grams of water. I'm gonna take some out. Yay. You want your water to be about 100 to 110 degrees. That was my first mistake when I made these bagels. I did not take the temperature of the water. All right, let's see. Okay, perfect. 2 tablespoons. And then we're gonna add our yeast. Whisk it together. Another mistake that I made when making this recipe is I did not let my yeast activate enough. So I'm gonna show you what it's supposed to look like once it's done here. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm activating my yeast mixture. Now I'm gonna mix together the bread flour and salt. I'm gonna do 780 grams of bread flour. You can also use all-purpose. I just like to use bread. And then 3 teaspoons of salt. My salt, a little mix. This is what we want our yeast to look like. Nice and foamy, bubbly. So next step is just mixing everything together. Put this in here. My flour and salt. While that's mixing, I'm gonna go ahead and oil this bowl that I had the flour in. All right, it's looking good. All right, so let's go ahead and transfer it to this oiled bowl here. All right, so I got my dough here. It's all nice and mixed up in an oiled bowl. I'm gonna cover it and let it proof for about an hour. This is another mistake that I made when I first made this recipe. I did not let it proof for long enough. So we want it to be doubled in size. I'm gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna turn the oven light on. The oven's not gonna be on, but it gets really warm in there when you have the light on. Another tip, if you're using plastic wrap, spray the top of it because the dough might touch it and then it'll just come off, if that's making any sense. I don't know. My dough is officially doubled in size. It's been an hour. So before I do the next step, I just got a pot of water. I'm gonna get this boiling. So I have this non-slip mat that really comes in handy. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is actually weigh my dough so that I can divide it into 12 equal pieces. Just punch that air out. I'm gonna weigh it. 1351. About 112 grams for each. Yay, we got it. Okay. My dough looks like this. I'm gonna shape it into balls. Now that they're all rolled into balls, I can just poke a hole in them and make them into bagels. I'm still waiting for my water to boil. I just filled it up way too much. But another tip, you want to use light colored baking sheets whenever you're baking, or else your things will come out to be burnt or very dark on the bottom. Water all on, it's starting to boil. I'm gonna add some honey to it. You can also add sugar if you don't want to add honey. All right, let's boil these. I don't know why they're so far away from the stove, but do 30 seconds per side with boiling these. add an egg wash. This is just an egg with some water. Bake it at 425 for 20 minutes. So in the oven you go. 425 for 20 minutes. And this is what they look like. I am a plain bagel girl, but if you want to add toppings to these, feel free to.